If they do that, they're going to be, the Cougs will be very, 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 very tough to beat.
Wilson! Oh! And we are tied!
Let's go! Call the Phi Slamma Jamma.
And I don't ever let them forget where we come from.
Getting those phones out. Report me acting ignorant.
Down Dean Connors. Found some daylight. Found the end zone. Touchdown, Houston.
Seventh heaven for Houston. The Cougars advance to their seventh Final Four.
Go Cougs! Let's go! It's so good! The dream remains alive for the Houston Cougars!
Welcome into another episode of Let's Rage Coogs, presented by the Saxenian Family. We're coming off a 66-52 victory over the third-ranked team in the country. Houston Cougars doing a lot of leapfrogging after the results of the weekend, and they pile on another victory, this time over the Utes, to improve to 22-2 overall, 10-1 in their Big 12 conference record. They're now tied at the top of the conference with Arizona for the top record in the league, but tonight belongs to Emmanuel Sharp. He was truly on fire. Was truly a sharpshooter, although, you know, that pun is a little overused, but Emmanuel Sharp, that's what he was tonight. 8 for 13 on his threes, breaking the all-time program record set by Marcus Sasser a couple of seasons ago. Now that title belongs to Emmanuel Sharp, most three-pointers in program history, and obviously he still has a long way to go. He's still going to continue to add to that, but as where it stands now, Emmanuel Sharp, 277 career three-pointers all time for the Houston Cougars. He finished with 27 points, and he was just on fire for most of the night, throughout the night. But we'll talk about all that in a second. Dayon Dunlap, Kris Gardner, how are y'all doing on this Tuesday night?
I'm doing well. I'm watching the end of TCU Iowa State. So you see me looking down. I'm looking at it on my phone. Horned Frogs are up in a timeout with less than a minute remaining. Cougs are tied for first place with Arizona. Tonight's win, second game of a road trip really for the team. Altitude, all those things. It's a win. Road win. Take it and come on home.
TCU up by 4 under 30 seconds left. Yeah, I'm doing good though, man. Another good dub. Cougars just rolling.
Emmanuel Sharp made 6 of his first 7 3-point attempts. What was the stat? Everybody else, not named Sharp, made
1. They were 1 for.
No, I mean everybody in the game made 3. He made 8. Anybody else in the game, including Utah players, total made 3.
Damn. That is true. Houston went 1 for any Cougar not named Emmanuel Sharp went 1 for 13 from the 3-point line. And then the Utes, they went 3 for 30. They went combined 3. If you were not Emmanuel Sharp, you went 3 for 30 shooting from behind the 3-point line tonight.
Yeah. But it's a win. It wasn't pretty. Who cares? It's a win. Good to see different guys get some minutes and play. I think some guys are tired because of the altitude and all those things. Utah's new coach, Alex Jensen, trying to reestablish a culture there for the Utes. So they're starting over. And, hey, Houston said thank you very much for the mud fight and got the dub.
Yep, got that dub. And defensively, I think the broadcast did a really good job of highlighting and really emphasizing how we're one of the best defensive teams, and then how offensively, with the talent of Kingston, Flemings, and tonight Emmanuel Sharp, and how the versatility on offensively in the different ways that we can win a game really makes us even Final Four contenders, like the broadcast said, and I definitely agree with that. And Emmanuel, I mean, he had it going. Pretty much the only one had it going, and defensively, he did a good job, though. I think that's where you really start. I mean, they had Brown, who averaged 21 points. And Emmanuel was able to for the most part, hold him from 12. And so he did he did it on both sides of the court. And so it was an outstanding performance by Emmanuel.
Yeah, he deserved a lot of credit for the defensive effort and the 3-point shooting. He had a rolling. It's a win and closing it out. Life in the Big 12, man. And you could talk about Utah not being a very good team with a winning record. It's still a road win. It's tough to win on the road in the Big 12, as Iowa State is finding out in Fort Worth. Right now it's TCU. And Iowa State, they're up and down, had a awesome road win earlier in the year, winning at Purdue. Now, but they'll have 3 losses in Big 12 play because it's the Big 12. So let's give credit to the Big 12.
Yeah, that's a big win for TCU. We saw how scrappy they were just a week ago when Houston played them over there in Fort Worth, and they gave Houston a good challenge. So, it looks like they're gonna upset. They are gonna upset just a couple of seconds from it being official over Iowa State.
Yeah, they were up, like, I think when the Cougar game was winding down, 50, either 49-41 or 50-41, something like that.
49-41.
And then Iowa State scored 10 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, TCU is going to once again this year find a way to lose. But this year is different. This game tonight is different. They've found a way to win. So it's a big win for TCU. This win will help the Cougs be a 2 seed for sure, because Illinois and Nebraska also lost tonight. So the Cougs moving closer to the 1 seed line. Just need help from other people to beat. So I kind of be difficult, but UConn and or Duke, because that's what it will take to probably become a 1 seed. Those teams have to lose as well. And of course, Houston has to win their games too. Beat Arizona, beat Iowa State, and beat Kansas.
Which we're going to do. I really like our team. I think defensively, we're really, really, really gelling well, and have the different components or different rotations things down. I think offensively, man, we still getting better in game by game. I think offensively, especially in the half court, as we continue in the game, because then in the tournament, games are going to slow down. Games are going to be a little bit more physical. You're going to have to execute a lot more in the half court. And I think we're being able to get more different sets and have versatility in the half court. And that's really helping, especially with Emmanuel, not only shooting, but being able to do it off the dribble.
And I like the offensive versatility that the Cougs have, the potential offensively for this team. Kingston had probably his poorest shooting performance so far this season, going 2 for 9. Was 1 for 8, so they made the last pull-up jumper, and they still won with ease. And the defense, for Coach Sampson standards, had some slippage in the game throughout the game, but then you could tell when they locked down, they forced shot clock violations.
Especially they closed out the first half. The close out the first half wasn't too pretty.
Yes, agreed.
I think with a better team that can be very, very, very troublesome. And I think closing our quarters, I'm sure it's a lot, but it's just another game in February to get better from. We're going to play a perfect game, and I think things like that, I'm glad it's happening now. We can kind of clean it up and put an emphasis on closing our quarters or halves. I mean, they should go to 4 quarters.
Agreed. I think I think almost everybody except the people in charge of men's college basketball believe that and agree with that. It's the only level of basketball throughout the world that doesn't have quarters. But, Coach Sampson is Coach Sampson. He's so demanding, and he has high expectations. So he will focus on the poor closeout of the first half, little issues down the stretch of the second half as well. That's part of the culture. That's part of why this program is so successful and has been so successful for so long now. And it's what fans appreciate and admire about the program is this win was not in doubt, but Coach Sampson is going to hold his players to a higher standard than how they finished the first half and how they finished the second half.
Yeah, to add on to both your points, I'm sure head coach Kelvin Sampson definitely made it a point of emphasis at halftime because they came out with a lot of that defensive intensity, and they held Utah to just 6 points for over the first 10 minutes of the second half. They outscored them 19-6 to open up the second half. So that messaging worked, but like y'all both said, towards the end of that game, kind of saw that same slippage, and you saw what was at one point a 20-point lead for Houston dwindled down to 14 to end the game.
And I think if anyone had any financial interest in the final margin, they might not be happy, depending on how they place their wager. But that's not our problem. Has Isaiah Harwell lost some confidence? I'm not sure he's been fully confident most of this year, dealing with injuries, and he's not 100% right now either. But he is one of those kind of he is a player that if his shot isn't falling, he kind of hangs his head, and he has to work his way out of that and get out of that.
To me, I don't know if it's confident. I think it's a rhythm. Because when I watch him, I don't see a player doesn't have lack confidence. Player that lack confidence passes up shots and is hesitant on the shots. He's the opposite of that. He's just not really making them at a consistent rate. And so I think it's more or less kind of finding a rhythm, kind of getting just getting in the flow. That's the best way that I can describe it. And so
I think
I can't.
both
I
can be
don't
true.
think it's confidence.
No, I
It could,
think
but I don't think it's confidence.
No, I think he's in his head now that he's shooting because the team wants him to shoot. I don't think he believes he's going to make them.
Yeah, see, I don't think
I
that.
think he let them fly, hoping they go in. He's hoping they go in, not thinking they're going to, because that drive he had that steal, and he threw up this garbage layup attempt. He was avoiding contact. He didn't want to go to the line. That attempt had no chance to go in.
But that's just one play. I'm talking about in reference. Most of it when he's catching and shooting, that was a bad play. But that's just one play. I'm talking about most of his other attempts are in scenarios like that. Most of them is like catching, shooting, or he attacking the closeout. And in most of those instances, he looks confident in making his move. It just isn't dropping. But on that play, for sure, what you said, that was just not a smart play. No question.
We welcome everybody that's joining us on this edition of Let's Rage Coogs, both on X, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. Apparently, there's some technical difficulties going on X. I had to go find the actual stream and repost it. So hopefully, we get a few more people trickle in here throughout the show. But for those of you that are here watching us live or streaming on demand whenever you may be watching us. Well, this is Let's Rage Coogs presented by the Saxenian Family. Big thank you to Steve Saxenian for being the primary sponsor of not only this edition of Let's Rage Coogs, but he has been all season long. And a big thank you to Star Pizza Houston as well, with multiple locations throughout the Houston area. Star Pizza is your go-to stop before or after the game. Be sure to visit them online at starpizza.net. Star Pizza HOU on X, and Star Pizza Houston, Texas on Instagram.
I see Crab Cheese comment about points in the paint. It's a different opponent, because I could argue that if Houston makes 9 or 10 threes, they're going to outscore Arizona's points in the paint. Arizona's not a 3-point shooting team. Braden Burridge is pretty much it. They don't take a lot of threes. They shoot a decent percentage, from 3, but that's an issue. Their paint point dominant. It's going to be two great teams playing, but that's 11 days from now. Next game for Houston is Valentine's Day. Take care of Kansas State.
Yep.
And then go to Ames, Iowa on Big Monday on the 16th. That's it. Coach Sampson is probably mad at us for even talking about Arizona, because the next game on the schedule is on the 14th. And put away a struggling Kansas State team that is playing out the string. So jump on them early, take their heart, and move on.
And just look at tonight. We saw a lot of teams that have been upset. Iowa State's one of them. UNC turned around after beating Duke and they lost to Miami. Granted, Miami's been, has been a pretty good team so far this season, but still that's a letdown for them after the big win. So that's another cap in the hat for Houston, just in terms of very, very rarely, to be honest. It's hard to think of the last time Houston had a letdown after a big performance. They usually just don't have many, and that's a big testament to Kelvin Sampson and the staff.
Without a doubt. Agreed. Do the Cougs have 5 draft picks in the starting lineup? No.
No.
They might have 5 pros, but not all 5 NBA players.
Yeah.
But Illinois losing at home helps Houston. Nebraska losing at home helps Houston in terms of seeding purposes. So overall, I would say losing on the road. Overall, it was a good night for Houston Cougars men's basketball for the seeding, because with those scenarios, it improves tonight's results, improve the chances that Houston will be playing in Toyota Center, assuming they get past the opening 2 rounds.
That's Sweet 16, right?
Correct. Sweet 16 and Elite 8. Yes, sir. So this helped a lot. Their losses and Houston's winning helped a lot. Can almost ask for a better scenario tonight.
Yeah, and I think the bench production, someone else mentioned it in one of the comments earlier in the chat, and the bench production, it's kind of coming through. And I think once again, tonight, Mercy served flashes in only he played 16 minutes, something like that, 14 minutes. Isaiah, 23, 0 for 5. Chase came in, had a great energy play. And so I think that bench is still going to make a few plays here and there, especially when we get in the tournament. They can help win us a game.
And I think that they should get minutes this Saturday as well against Kansas State.
Yeah.
For 2 reasons. One, I think Coach Sampson trusts them more at home. 2, I think the game's going to be a blowout. About 10 minutes to go in the second half, and they'll get to play a lot.
And tonight was also another night where Houston once again won the rebounding battle, 32-28 over Utah, and really looking at the box score again, it's kind of a rebounding by committee, which is something that they did this past Saturday, and they continue to do it. Kingston Fleming, like you said, Chris didn't shoot well, but still got 4 rebounds. Sanak had 5. JoJo had 5. Emmanuel had 3. Isaiah Harwell had 4. Ramon Walker came in, he had 4. Saka only had 1. McCarty had 2, and Mercy Miller got 1 as well.
So yeah, rebounding by committee might be the way to go for this team, for this year's team. That's fine. And to sum up Houston's seeding as a 1 seed, this is my personal take on it. If Houston wins the Big 12, whoever wins the Big 12, Houston, that's our focus. They're number 1 seed, period. Now it's a question of can the Big 12 get 2 number 1 seeds? I think so. Arizona has a hell of a finish. They got the remaining 7 games are all Q1 games. As the graphic showed during the broadcast, they have the 3rd toughest strength of schedule to close out the regular season. So Houston do their part. Houston and Arizona could be 1 seeds. A year after the SEC having 2 1 seeds.
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible. I think it's likely that both of us get number 1 seeds. I think it's likely that Houston wins the Big 12. Of course, I'm biased.
Of course, we are. We are. No
But
doubt.
I feel confident saying that though. Biased or not, because although I'm a Cowboys fan, I wouldn't feel too confident saying that. And so, but I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to taking care of Kansas State first, and then going to Iowa State. I think how tough it is to win there. I'm really, really anxious to see how Kingston, if he attacks the game early, to kind of settle the atmosphere down, let them know like I'm the best player in here tonight. I can't wait to see that game. But we got to take care of Kansas State first, not undermining that. I'm ready to take care of that, and then just kind of see where we at after that. We on the road.
And think about this. Iowa State's next game is this Saturday against Kansas. It's in Ames. But one of those two teams will have 3 losses in conference play. If Kansas loses, if Iowa State loses, they'll have 4. Cougs win Saturday over K-State, which they should. They'll still only have 1. So, hey. But taking care of business, Hunter, you can disagree with it. I said earlier, Michigan, well, no, not Michigan, Duke or UConn. And Duke plays Michigan this Saturday. So that should be this Saturday's got a lot of matchups in college basketball. So it's, some must-watch hooping for basketball fans. And a reminder for everybody who's a Coug fan, this Saturday's game is on Peacock.
I'm just responding to his comment. If we win the Big 12, we don't need to jump them.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Winner of the Big 12. This is the best conference in basketball.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Chris.
What do you think about Not Too Complicated's comment right above that? How JoJo would fare against Arizona?
I mean, I look forward to it.
Or
played well Monday night. He did a great job on both ends. He was great.
I got to. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a different game. They're going to come ready. We'll see. I don't know. I think because we at home, I think it's going to be a tough battle because they have big guys with girth. Our big guys outside because Sanek seemed like he pretty stout and tall. But Tugler, he just tall and long and athletic. Versus the big 7'2". I don't know his last name. That's a couple weeks down.
Yeah, y'all are looking past.
I just responded to a comment though.
Yeah, y'all looking past two games to get to the 21st, and who knows what their record will be between now and then. Life in the Big 12. Scenario set up. Houston has on paper an easier remaining. What is it, Andy? 6 games, 7 games. What is it? What's good? 7 games.
They're 10-1 now.
10-1. Yeah, 7 games.
So they have 7 games left. Yes, sir.
So their 7 games are easier compared to Arizona's 7. But you still got to win. Got to get the job done on the court. JoJo is not the offensive threat that Flory Badunga has become this year.
And that's because our last 3 is Colorado, Baylor, and Oklahoma State. We got that tough 3 stretch with Iowa State, Arizona, and Kansas. But then it's Colorado, who's a good team. I seen them play. I watched one of their games. Baylor's going to be a good team. It's Montana, who we already played before. We beat them in White Coast. We'll have them at home with Oklahoma State.
And and Baylor, that's senior night. So Houston not losing senior night.
So, oh
yeah. But yeah. I mean, it's setting up nicely for the Cougs. But first things first, beat K-State. And who knows what's going to happen in the Kansas-Iowa State game. You don't wish injuries on anybody, but maybe what happens if Taman Lipsey rolls his ankle or something like that? Who knows? KU's winning games without Darren
What
Peterson.
about Kansas State? PJ Haggerty coming back to his hometown. He's going to be looking to put up a good performance.
Won't be enough.
I'm sure Emmanuel will take on that challenge and
I'm sure he
that
will.
assignment.
PJ might get his, but it won't be enough. That team is so broken, from a unit standpoint, that I don't know what could help them fix it right now. I mean, personnel, coaching, everything. That team is in shambles.
I want to bring up this comment again, but Houston. We've talked about it in recent shows. The improvement that Houston seems to be putting on film, and the analytics kind of back that up. They're top 4 in KenPom, 8th best offensive efficiency, 8th best defensive efficiency, and it's mirroring the eye test that we've seen so far and really the past few weeks watching Houston. But they're making that gradual improvement, and they still have a month left to continue to improve before they get into tournament time, which is exciting and goes to show how night and day difference where the team was in November and December, which is always the goal, as Calvin Sampson likes to reiterate.
Agreed. And they still have room, as Crabtree pointed out, we believe, to improve offensively and defensively. So I'm not big on the AP or college rankings at all, but I was surprised that Houston moved up 5 spots.
Yeah, surprised me too.
5 for beating UCF and BYU. 5. So, but with Illinois losing, let's see, who am off the top of my head? Michigan 1, Arizona 2, and Iowa State. Houston will probably be 3 or 4 in the net rankings tomorrow as well. They were 6. So that carries more weight than the college and coaches and the AP polls. So Torvik, people use that. KenPom, the net, those metrics are more important to the committee members and the AP and coaches rankings. And Airfan being the most dominant big man in college, that's tough to say as a freshman, because one of his issues about him right now in high school is he doesn't always play with a high motor. So it's a question of how long it will take him to get that high motor in the program. Once he does, he should be really, really good. But, he's got to learn the Kelvin Sampson way of playing basketball.
Let me take this one more moment to again say thank you to today's sponsors on this edition of Let's Rage Coogs, starting with Steve Saxenian, the primary sponsor of not only this episode of Let's Rage Coogs, but each and every single post-game show all season long. You're watching live and or on demand whenever you may be watching this on YouTube or any of our platforms. But this is Let's Rage Coogs, the original Houston post-game show going back to 2022. Big thank you to Steve Saxenian, and also big thank you to Mike and Jennifer Pittman with Star Pizza. With multiple locations throughout the Houston area, Star Pizza is your go-to stop. Again, for pizza before or after the game, check them out online at starpizza.net. Our social media platform, Star Pizza HOU on X, Star Pizza Houston, Texas on Instagram. And next time you are at any one of their locations, tell them you heard about them on Let's Rage Coogs. My personal recommendation, check them out on Tuesdays and Fridays for their all-you-can-eat pizza buffets. But again, tell them you heard about them on Let's Rage Coogs.
And Arizona hosts Texas Tech on Saturday.
Another big test.
So, it's a home game, so you expect Arizona to win it, but that'd be a great test for Mr. Toppin going against Arizona's bigs.
Yeah, Tech will be a little motivated after, how last week went for them.
And Christian Anderson against Jaden Bradley. I mean, the matchups, man, Texas Tech is getting healthier, as the season winds down. So I posted it on social media last night when the game ended between Kansas and Arizona. I love Big 12 basketball, man. I love this. And I love the competition, the fans, the atmospheres, all those things. But also, as a proud UH alum, I love the fact that the Cougs are 10-1, tied for first place in the Big 12 and getting better. I love that even more.
That's an interesting point about K-State, too. They gave up 80 points a game. Doesn't
They're
seem
a
like
mess.
yeah,
Defensively,
on
offensively,
paper.
they're a mess.
On paper, it doesn't seem like it's going to bode well for them at all.
But you can't take them for granted. They could have one lighting in a bottle game. Could be this Saturday. Who knows? Got to focus in, lock in, not look past them, and get the dub and move on.
Yep. Well said, Chris. I think we will. It's important to come on and kind of take their confidence early. Let them know, like, yeah, yep. I think we will.
Which is important, right? You never want to give any bad team hope or confidence later into the game. Which, like, we're all in agreement. We don't think Houston's going to do that on Saturday. Real quickly, looking at the final box scores from the game, I mentioned at the top of the show, Emmanuel Sharp led the way with 27 points, hit 8 3-pointers in this game. And again, if you're just joining us missed it at the top of the show, he is now the lone record holder for most 3-point field goals in U of H history, currently sitting at 277 and counting for Sharp. And he's just going to continue to expand on his lead. He passed Marcus Sasser tonight against Utah for that feat. Looking at the other players for U of H, Miles Uzan and JoJo Tugler finished with 9 points each. They were tied for the second leading scorers. JoJo Tugler added in 5 rebounds in this game, while Miles Uzan had 2 assists as well. Chris Anak had 6 points, 5 rebounds in this game for Houston. Mercy Miller got 6 points in 14 minutes, and Kingston Flemings, like you mentioned, Chris, earlier in the show, not necessarily a strong shooting night, but still got you 4 assists. It's only 1 turnover, and he also got you 4 rebounds.
And again, Houston won the points off turnovers, 25.
Domination.
So that's something Dan has wanted for years. He wanted to see Houston turn those turnovers into points and easy buckets. And this year's team is doing a very good job of doing that, especially winning.
Yep, this team can do that really well. I mean, starting with Kingston and Milos. So as soon as you get the turnover, you get the ball in their hands, they're able to push the pace. And then when Emmanuel shooting like he is tonight, ability to stretch the floor, or even then just to get downhill and be able to finish or play make. I really like this team and their ability to turn defense into offense, play a little bit more transition. But we turn the ball over, we have 5 turnovers, and 2 of those is like turnovers that we don't normally have.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that we take care of the ball, but then when we turn the other team over with our good defense and turn that into offense into points, we're hard to beat, especially when we attack the offensive glass, give us extra possessions and more possessions. And so that's a recipe for long runs if we can able to performances like that.
And it's great to see, if I counted right, 10 guys played at least 10 minutes tonight. So that's, could be because of the road trip, Utah, the travel, the altitude, whatever. But 10 players playing at least 10 minutes. I mean, I love that. I said that from the start of the season. I hoped Coach would play 10 deep, a 10-man rotation this year. He hasn't, but he did tonight, and I'll take it. So maybe it's a start. So because I want to see Mercy get consistent minutes, and Chase dealt a hand injury for a little bit, but I want to see this team go 10 deep and wear down opponents.
And on top of that, Chris, it seemed like an overwhelming majority of those players left their mark in this game. They had some kind of positive impact that they could hang their hat on and build from.
Which is another positive that this team is getting better as we're moving toward the end of February into March in tournament play. And I see Crabtree's, comment about being ranked 25 straight weeks in the top 10. Yeah, let's put that on. That is exceptional.
Going back to December 2019, that was the last time they were unranked. They became ranked when they won the the tournament in Hawaii called the Diamond Head Classic in 2019. Christmas 2019. They've been ranked ever since.
It's a great time to be a Coug, man.
That's 6 years. 6 years of being ranked. It's absurd.
And 25 straight weeks in the top 10. I mean, that's what, the entire season this year?
Yeah.
And change.
Mm-hmm.
It is a great time to be a Coug. It's always a good time to be a Coug. Once a Coug, always a Coug. But transfers, I mean, they'll get as many as they need to get, because it won't be a problem with getting players who want to be part of the program. That's not an issue.
In a recent interview, Coach Sampson said that next year they'll be in the portal more than they normally are. And so I was just literally thinking, like, what position would they be looking to fill? And I'm thinking, like, it might be point guard.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think it'll be point guard. It's because I think Kris will go, of course, Kingston, Emmanuel, Milos. So they'll be replacing field starters.
Next year's team will be very interesting because they'll have to replace a lot of those players. Yeah, like you mentioned, that's
5 players because of Ramon as well.
Who's been around for forever.
Yeah, so you think coming back? I mean, I would project JoJo, Mercy, Isaiah, and then we got the freshman,
yeah,
as we just mentioned, and you got Bryce Jackson for Chase. We still have Cordell, and then the other freshman guard,
Kenna Losey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So yes, next year's team will be different. Will be younger in certain spots, but it'll be different because you'll have a dominant low post big man presence to draw double teams and kick it out for 3-point shooters to spread the floor. So the defense will be constant. We all know that. It's just the other spots and pieces to fit. Next year's team will win differently, but they will be successful. We all expect that, which is another example of what the staff and Coach Sampson have established. Losing starters, losing some culture guys, and we still expect them to win next year.
Yeah, I don't expect their ranking streak to stop next year.
Agree.
Not too complicated comment. It's Isaiah Harwell, right? It's Isaiah Harwell. They're confident in him. The staff is.
And rightfully so. I think Murphy too.
Well, the first person off the bench though is Khalifa.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Jojo Tugler is getting in foul trouble.
No. He puts Khalifa in like 3 minutes into the game. I mean, he is JoJo gets one foul or two. Khalifa comes in right before typically the first media timeout. So he is the first person off the bench is Khalifa.
Yeah, but Isaiah Harwell's getting more consistent playing time than him.
Yeah, he is.
Kris, what do you think about this comment? NRG text, and you should absolutely not take it for granted. Utah is exactly where UH used to be with Brooks, McCollum, etc. Except Houston would show up to see top teams.
Yeah, that's fair. Rick Majerus, hell of a coach at Utah, won a lot of success. And since Coach Majerus passed away, have not been nearly as successful nowhere close. So yes, this is a great time, a special era in Houston Cougars basketball, and it's just a question of how long it will last.
Yeah, Crabtree with the great fun fact about this game. It was Utah's lowest scoring output of the season.
And it seems like the last few opponents, if not their lowest, close to the lowest for UCF. And the last, 3 opponents have scored in the 50s? Like 55, 54, 52, something like that?
Let me double check real quick.
So, yeah, Houston.
Well, in the 60s. So tonight, Utah had 52, BYU had 66. UCF was held to 55. Cincinnati was held to 54. So 3 out of the last 4 opponents have been held to under 50, or under 60, I should say, and all 4 have been held to under 70. Even going back to January 28th, TCU got to exactly 70 points.
So Houston is getting better with room for improvement. And tied for first place.
Yep.
That's all that matters. On to the 14th.
Yeah.
And let's touch on this as down previewing next year's roster. And you don't know what we don't know what kids are thinking. But based on who's leaving, Mercy City return. He's going to start next year. I mean, it's right there for him to start next year. He's put in the work. The spot is there. He can be a leader. All of those factors. I mean, I don't know, his financial situation, but he should not need the money. So the opportunity looks like on paper for him to get the minutes that he wants next year.
It also wouldn't kind of make logical sense considering he stuck it out and he said all the right things for the past 2 years. So I agree.
Of course.
Also, I agree with you guys, but also the same thing for Cordell. I mean, the opportunity is going to be there for him. And you're going to need a point guard. He's dealing with some injuries this year. I'm sure we'll hit the portal, but he's going to also have opportunity, seemingly, that he stays as well.
So, he's been hit with injuries his UH career.
Yeah.
But he's a Cougar. But it's up to him as well. What does he want to do? Because Kingston leaving, going pro, will open the door up for a possible other member of the class of 26 from high school, or for sure, a starting point guard in the portal. So all those things will be considered, and Coach Sampson and the staff, he'll have straight talk with them and say, hey, this is what we're looking at. You stick with us, you know, blah, blah, blah. And that'll be up for them to decide what they want to do is best for them.
KF3118 with the Kelvin Sampson comment in the comment section. 2 straight years that U of H has lost 4 out of their 5 starters and never missed a beat.
Yep. And we don't expect anything to be different next year. Just going to be winning differently. But still winning, and as Dayon said, the streak of being ranked, we don't expect it to end next year.
Not at all. Not at all. We don't rebuild. We replace.
Yeah. Replace, retool, reload, whatever.
Retool, reload, man.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be right here. See? But yeah, this year, I'm loving what we got. I'm loving how we're progressing game by game, showing the different ways that we can win despite different players having different type of nights shooting-wise. And one thing I'm really impressed with is now how we're community rebounding.
Yeah.
Versus it was a couple games where Kris was just dominating the boards for us. And so I think to have that ability where Kris can just dominate the boards, but still have that effort when everyone trying to chip in. I think that's the recipe for us to create those turnovers, get the offensive rebounds, and really win and have the advantage in that way. Put ourselves in a good position to win.
And to really put a bow on what NRG and Hunter are saying, I'm not worried about it. The Cougs in the portal at all. My talent wants to come here. Talented players want to come here and play for the Houston Cougars. The biggest question
Especially
will
point
be,
guards.
for no doubt, but the biggest question will be for some of them and some of their reps, some of their people, will be how much money they want. Because there will be some that Houston just can't afford. But those few have to look at themselves and their people and say, yeah, I could get more money, like Fluff said in the previous show. I can get more money at another program, but I'm going to win at Houston and be developed for the NBA.
Yeah.
I'm going to the Cougars. But there will be some say, no, I want to get the bank and I'm out. Well, okay, well, good luck to you. Go there and lose when you face Houston. So that's your choice.
Well, and depending on how the season goes for UH, right, they're going to have a chance not only to, and depending on how far they go to the tournament, they'll be on more and more television, for lack of a better phrase, throughout the country. But then on top of that, Kingston Flemings, he's going to be a top 10, and that's being conservative pick. You're probably going to be much higher than that. Chris and Eck, I think by the end of the season will be a lock in terms of a lottery pick. I think he'll be developed and be much more consistent, but he'll be a first round pick. And shoot, even we'll see what happens with Manos, how he's able to do, if he's able to turn around and get drafted as well. Whether it be the first round or the second round, that will matter too. If 3 out of their 5 starters from this season end up going to the NBA at some point, and 2 of them being high first round picks.
It matters to the people who want to win.
And
there
that's the
are
players
some
that
people,
Houston
yes,
wants.
there are some people, and not necessarily players, but there are some people who just want to get paid, and paid a lot.
And in a way, they kind of filter themselves out, because I don't think Houston's interested in those type of players regardless.
Which is the great point. So for fans who may toss out some names, what about player X? Why isn't Houston looking at player X? I think if you think about it, you're answering your own question. Because not everybody can play for Coach Sampson. Not everybody is a Houston Cougar.
Yeah, Coach Sampson recently quoted saying that they do evaluations as well as recruiting. So I have no doubt it'll work itself out.
But, and that's all part of why all of us expect this team to be good/great and compete for championships again next year. So, yeah, we're not worried about the portal because we trust Coach Sampson and the staff to evaluate the right fit for this program. Because the right fit is not going to be a player that wants X amount of money and doesn't want to win. He ain't coming here. They're not going to sign him. But Saturday, the next edition of Let's Rage Coogs, Valentine's Day edition, we discuss Houston beating Kansas State to improve to 11-1 in Big 12. Join us Saturday afternoon.
Yep, that's the perfect segue. Chris, one last time, again, big thank you to everybody that took the time out of their Tuesday night to join us off the heels of Houston's 66-52 victory over Utah in the state of Utah. So another road victory for Houston. Well, what does this make? That's 18 of their last 19 road games that they've won, going back to the past 2 years or something along those lines, which is, again, another just dominating stat that really shows how spectacular this run for Houston has been. But final box score, Emmanuel Sharp led the way, 27 points, 8 of 13 from the 3-point line, 3 rebounds. Of course, he is now the all-time 3-point field goal maker in U of H history. Milo Uzan had 9 points. He had 2 assists. JoJo Tugler had 9 points, 5 rebounds. Kristen Eck and Mercy Miller round out with 6 points each. Kingston Flemings, 4 points, 2 of 9 shooting, 4 rebounds, 4 assists in the win. Like Kris said, Cougars return to action on Saturday. That's going to be at 3 p.m. Central tip-off time from the Fertitta Center. If you can't go to the Fertitta Center, it'll be on Peacock. It'll be streaming on Peacock, like you mentioned. So join us probably around 5:30 for the post-game show of the edition after Houston and K-State. We'll be talking about everything that happens and be just discussing how the Cougars handled the Wildcats of Kansas State.
And real quick, regarding the 3-game stretch with Iowa State, Arizona, Kansas, I'm going to say 2-1. Hope for 3-0, but I'll say 2-1 because it's life in the Big 12, But I hope for 3-0. But Houston will beat Arizona because it's a home game. Let's start there, okay? Win your home game. It's going to be a battle, officiating, let them play, all those different things. But I'll flip it around, complicated. If Emmanuel Sharp makes 8 threes, Arizona not going to beat Houston. I don't care what they do inside. Because home games, E-Man hits threes. I think Milos will hit threes. I think Kingston will hit threes in Houston.
I'm very confident that Kingston Flemings will not have 4 points in that game.
Yeah, he will not go 2 for 9 at home against Arizona. But looking forward to that game. Looking forward to game on Monday the 16th in Ames against Iowa State. And I would like it. I think all of us would like it. I think you heard the stat, saw the stat during the game Monday night between Arizona and Kansas. Bill Self is 39-0 on Big Monday. Well, time for him to get that one loss. That's February 23rd. So let's give him that, put a 1 in that, change that 0 to a 1. So there we go.
Tell them they can reach you, Kris.
But salute to everybody to join us tonight after a win over clearly an inferior opponent. Not our problem. Got the dub. Tied for first place now. Emmanuel Sharp is in first place all by himself for most threes made in Houston Cougars men's basketball history. Join us on Saturday as we talk about Houston picking up win number 11 in Big 12 play.
A shout out to E3, like Kris just said, being the all-time 3-point shot maker in Houston history. That's big time. And good win tonight. I'm looking forward to the next one. And then that tough stretch to really being tested and seeing where we shake out against high level competition. So shout out to Go Samson and the staff. Let's Rage Coogs, all my brothers. Shout out to Fluff. It's late on his coast, but we know he with us. And good win tonight. Shout out to Emmanuel again. Looking forward to the next game. Go Cougs.